Welcome to Will's World, your will overall, powered by Third Gen Physical Therapy and Sports Science Institute.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, whenever you're listening to this, what time of day you're at. I hope you're having a great day or had a great day. And welcome back. And before we get started, for everybody who's always here, who always presses play, thank you. We appreciate it. Every listen we get is definitely a validation to, what we're trying to do, which is get to reach people who we normally wouldn't get a chance to talk to on a day-to-day basis. But before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, comment, give us a 5-star review. Let's help get the podcast out so others can get to it. And with that being said, let's get going. Today's episode is titled Greatness is Boring. Greatness is boring. One of my favorite things to talk about is greatness, uh, what that means, what that looks like, and then just just putting a realistic view on it, which is that it's not what you think it is. Because when you're trying to be great at something, there's not a lot going on. Um, as far as in the light or in front of people. So it becomes very, how can I say this, not fun for some people. In today's episode, we're going to discuss 3 topics or 3 points within greatness is boring. The first point, greatness is mundane. The second point, no validation early. And the last talking point is greatness doesn't have balance. Now, in the first part, greatness is mundane. There's not a lot of flash when it comes to trying to achieve a level of greatness. There's a lot of quiet time. There's a lot of, long nights, long days, early mornings. There's a lot of just simplistic work that's occurring. And when that work is occurring out of the eyes of others or in quiet, it becomes something that you could really get, how can I say, burnt out with, right? In the society we live in, there's a lot of fast-paced things, a lot of things that we're trying to get to as quick as possible. A lot of things. So it's a lot of noise, a lot of flash, even how we consume, you know, um, technology at this point in time, or like events, right? We used to watch TV and get information from that, right? And we went from that to progressing to the internet, and we used to watch videos, long form, correct? And then we went from that to now everything's a short. If you can't get it out to somebody in 30 seconds or a minute, they're not interested. So, as a result of that being something that a lot of people have absorbed into their life, what happens is that when you have to actually put in simplistic, time consuming, mundane work in order to achieve the greatness that you're trying to get to, people quit. Really easy to quit. You know, like if I put it in the mind of my basketball, players that I train, some of them don't realize that what has to happen is very boring. If you suck at getting past people or finishing at the basket and you think it's because you're short, and I say, well, I can prove to you that that's not the case, and I show you through video or through whatever, right? It takes a lot of boring reps to improve on that one skill. Like, 10,000 hours to be able to, master something and all that jazz. Yeah, like that's true, but the actual work is very simple, almost too simple. And as a result, we fall in that particular feeling of like, nah, this is not greatness. There's not enough conversation. It's not fast enough. It's not enough secrets in the whole thing I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm recreating the wheel. I feel like I'm just rolling the wheel that was already created years ago. And guess what? Greatness is just that simple. But it can become so boring for people. If I'm speaking from my personal perspective, I enjoy that though. Like, you know, go into hiding or disappear or become, quiet or silent. And then when the person reappears, they're, figuratively bigger than what they were, or they're more settled, or they have more control over their lives, or they have something they've created that was not there prior to. And for you, that's seeing that, like, dang, that's great. But the person is like, yeah, I just been working. Like, I just been kind of working towards my goal, whether that's school, whether that's a sport, whether that's your marriage, relationship, whether that's creating content, whatever that is. I just been working towards my goal, right? Really, it. Me personally, like I said, I enjoy that. I don't like things that are not tangible. If I know how to get from point A to point Z, and they say, well, this point is going to take you, 100,000 steps, I'm probably the person that's going to take the 100,000 steps, because I don't want to miss nothing in the journey of getting there. Because the greatness, you know, of that, of just taking that journey, it really can help catapult you when you're trying to achieve other great things quicker. So, which brings me to my next, point, which is you don't get validation early when you're trying to build towards that point of being great, or trying to develop yourself, or trying to grow your greatness, whatever that may be. You don't get any validation early. Honestly, you start to find out who's really with you, who's really on your side. That's what you find out. You find out who will say, "Hey man, I feel like you're just spinning your wheels," or "Hey man, like you should let that go. You're not good enough," or "Hey man, if it was meant to happen, it would happen by now." Stuff like that. Or my favorite, man, I'm quiet on that. And you realize that people's expectations of you are very low because of the fact that you being great or being better at something that they can't see, or something they don't believe in, which is what my last episode was about. Believing what you can't see is actually bothersome to their existence. You may not believe that, but it is bothersome. Have you ever been in a crowd of people and you realize that these people who are my friends or people who are my family, they don't really like me that much? And not like a like has to happen, but like, dang, like I thought I was working towards the great things. I'm living the right way. I'm trying my best to become better. And this is just like, dang, these people really don't rock with me. That's the whole thing of no validation early for what you're trying to do, which is develop yourself more. So when I speak on the fact that you don't have validation early, it can become very taxing for a lot of people who are trying to become better, or trying to, stay on this path of I want to get to that point of that I want to be great at whatever it is, right? Because you're not getting any pats on the back. Think about it. When you was first grade, second grade, I'm pretty sure mom, dad, or whomever, took your thing you colored, put it on the refrigerator. All right. I know as a kid you didn't recognize that, or it didn't really probably stick with you. Probably don't remember. But with that, as you got older, you would see different things on the refrigerator of yours. And whether you know it or not, seeing those things or them praising those things to that level gave you some level of validation. The problem, though, is that when everything that is done is, how can I say, validated, like everything you do. Like you can go outside, cut the grass. My God, you didn't cut the grass. Well, you should cut the grass. That's kind of part of the chore you had to do. I shouldn't be appreciative that you cut the grass. I shouldn't be really appreciative of the fact that you got up this morning and decided to go to work. And my God, you arrived at work like you like people like you better be glad I'm here. Like you could not be there. You can stay home. We see how that works out. But again, the whole validation thing become poison after a while. So when we discuss this last piece, which is greatness doesn't have any balance, Greatness does not have any balance. Okay. And what I mean by that is that as you're trying to do certain things that require a lot of you, you tend to lose balance or centeredness with yourself because either you're sacrificing a lot of time, you're not having a time to go see people that you normally would see, which is not necessarily a negative thing, but you're just in a space where you're kind of sort of trying to put all of your energy towards the thing you're trying to achieve. So it becomes a lot of work without a lot of actual, how can I say this, time for self. What happens is that you're doing this particular work now so you can have time for self later. So when somebody is saying that you have to have a balance, when they never tell you when because they don't know. You have to kind of sort of pick your spot. Sometimes it's during the journey. Like you're like, I gotta have my balance now. I'm back. But truth be told, greatness doesn't have a balance. You're probably all out on this thing. Seriously. And then you get to a place where that thing has become manageable. Now you can balance it because you have mastered what it required to get there. You built it, you've created it, you achieved it, and now you just need to maintain it. That doesn't require as much time. It doesn't require you to shift yourself way over there. It just doesn't. But in the initial early stages of achieving greatness, there's not balance. That's a lie. It's not. Use myself as an example. I promise you, how I got to this particular point in my life, there wasn't balance. There was all out, no breaks. The biggest lie that was ever told to us is that work life balance is what you use to decide on the job to take initially. That's not true. In my opinion, it's not true. It's not. What you're doing is that you're taking this job, trying to decide on how am I going to establish myself? Seriously, that's what you're taking the job based on. Now, in retrospect, what I can say now is this: that thought process is cool, but you know what you should be doing, right? When you're deciding on taking that first job, is trying to figure out why I'm taking this job and what's the plan for me when I take this job. I don't take a job thinking that, I'm going to work this job till it's over. Nope. I'm working this job trying to build or something. I have to. I can't work this job forever, whether that's retirement, whether that's the next job, whether that's my own business. And as a result, what you find out is that you took the job to move to the next thing. So as a result of taking that job, there were certain things you were trying to get to or milestones within that particular job. Once you got there, you transition to another place. If you're trying to go achieve greatness, if you're just trying to live your life, that's cool. Take the job, get the money, pay the bill, great. Hamster wheel it out, cool. No problem. No problem at all. I don't have any issue with that. But I'm talking about the fact that greatness is boring. So I said greatness doesn't have balance. This is the part where it doesn't have balance. I didn't take the job, right, for the work life balance. I took the job because it's going to allow me to do something I can't do. Hopefully, that thing it allows me to do doesn't actually take me backwards. That's what my biggest advice to a lot of young people coming out. I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to end this. Young people, greatness is boring. Stop coming to me and asking how much you should get paid. Because honestly, a lot of you are not even valuable at that particular point. Everybody wants to skip steps. Everybody. You have to create your value. You take a job, mark my words, I don't care what they pay you. If it doesn't have the pieces I just mentioned, why I'm doing it, what's the purpose, what I'm moving to, can I come back down from there? Can I establish myself to be able to get to a place of having that freedom? And can I get to a place of having the balance that I'm supposed to have? If it doesn't fulfill that, you're going to be miserable. That check is never going to make you feel the way you think it's going to make you feel. Mark my words. Whew, that was good. Hope today's episode you learned something. Hope today's episode, if it made you mad, cool. If it made you happy, great. If it actually gave you some insight, great. Like, my job is not trying to put you in a place specifically. I'm just giving you my thoughts. Whether or not they're of value, you determine that. I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers. I'm just speaking from perspective. And a lot of times these topics are coming from people, that I cross day to day. And I usually try to take their thought, and when it's a very cool thought, I sit here and ponder it, because it's great to be able to have these moments where I can share this with you all to give you all something to think about. So guess what? If the thought that I have given today is not for you, didn't really do it for you, it costs you nothing. Pay me no mind. And with that being said, I hope you have a blessed one. I'll catch you in the next one.